Here we go. Your meeting's good to go.
Great. I'll call a meeting of the Roads and Right-of-Way Committee to order for Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. Hard to believe. Okay. I declare we have a quorum present.
Alan, for the benefit of the tape, why don't we do a roll call?
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Lee,
Aye, here.
Rick,
Aye.
Bill,
Here.
Ed,
Here.
Nat,
Aye, here.
here. Okay, and Chair is here also. Okay, I declare we have a quorum and
And Alan, if I may, one more note. Ken Bogran called me, said that he has something else to do of a family personal nature. But if we have any questions for him, he can be at the end of his cell phone.
okay, I don't believe there's anything in particular that we need Ken for on today's meeting. So I think we'll just go ahead, public comment, seeing none. Okay, this is our annual reorganization meeting. And two things I want to mention. Leslie, who has stepped off the committee, was the vice chair. Lee, of course, is our top-notch secretary. And I've been chair actually since December of 2005. So if there is anyone else who would like to take over as chair, I would be more than happy to do that. Otherwise, we do need a set of officers to function. And
So Alan, if nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve.
well, that's not true. That's
Yeah.
But I'm happy to remain as secretary.
right. Okay. All right. Well, we need nominations. We need a nomination from the floor for.
Yeah. Alan, I would make a motion to continue, Alan, you as chair for this year.
All right. And for secretary, I'm sorry.
I'm just going to do one at a time, I guess.
Okay. Oh, one at a time. All right.
Agree to second it.
Okay.
Bill, is that a second?
Yes, it was.
Great. All in favor of the motion? Roll
Aye.
call.
Aye. Lowell, aye.
Nat. Lee.
Aye.
Rick.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Ed. Good. We do need a vice chair in the event that, yes, Rick.
Why don't we nominate Mr. Greeter? He
Ah,
may not, he doesn't expect that necessarily, but it continues the tradition of a Matticat officer. How's that sound?
that sounds wonderful. I would accept that as a nomination.
Bill, is that okay with you, Bill?
Sure. Unless somebody else wants to do it, I'll be happy to.
Is
Good.
that a motion? Is that a motion, Rick?
Absolutely.
We have a motion and a second for.
Great.
Bill.
Seconded.
This is only in case Alan gets lost in the moors one day, right? For meetings, right?
Unless they have to send the rangers out for the ranger, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I need
Okay.
a second. Was that Ed?
Ed
Yes.
seconded, yeah.
Okay. Roll call. Lee,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Nat,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Chair votes aye also. Okay, we have a slate of officers then. I will continue as chair, Bill as vice chair, and Lee as secretary. In preparation for this, I went back over the minutes. As I say, I've been the chairman since 2005, by the way, my first committee assignment in 1991 was to the Proprietors Roads Committee. That committee was subsequently merged in 1993 to become the Roads and Right-of-Way Committee. And I wasn't reappointed for 1 year. I was reappointed the next year, and I've served continuously on that since then, and served as chairman since December of 2005. I was going through the minutes. I have minutes from all those meetings, and I was impressed at the work that this committee has done over the years, just to highlight some of the big projects that we've accomplished over those years. We had a subcommittee for the Sconset Footpath that was led by
Yeah,
Deanne and Harvey Young, which yielded finally a resolution of and clarity about the use of the footpath as a public way, which is now being maintained by the DPW. Washington Street extension, the railroad right-of-way path, the Women's Monument, that was one of our projects that we did up in Founders Burial Ground. We did a dedication for that. Steps Beach, the Great Harbor Yacht Club, with the public access, we addressed that. The Public Way Monument Project, we have currently 36, I believe, upright monuments and 8 flush monuments, a few more to put in the ground. Cross Island Greenway System is materializing now through the cooperation of the Land Bank, the Conservation Foundation, Mass Audubon, and so on. There's a whole network of trails. There will be a map coming out soon with these trails. The one thing we haven't accomplished is the railroad trail, but I'm giving up on that one yet. We published a history of roads and ways. You might remember, if you haven't seen this book, we had Fran Cartman do a history of the roads and ways. It's called Ways Offshore.
yeah,
It's fascinating.
yeah.
And let's see, and these are just some of the highlights. We did a right-of-way improvement plan where we looked at the whole island and discussed those. We had the downtown sidewalk survey where you remember we walked up and down all the sidewalks, issued a report to the town, and that was the genesis for the town setting aside $5 million for
Yeah.
sidewalk work.
Yeah,
The Surfside area plan takings, we were
Yeah.
involved with that. They've now taken all those roads, Boulevard, Lovers Lane, Okawa, and Monahasset. And the First Way taking, you remember First Way, part of it was private, part of it was public, and there were no sidewalks. Kids, anyway, we got that straightened out. And the town encroachment policy, remember
Yeah.
Joe Marklinger.
Yeah.
And of course, the Harbor Walk, which is a work in progress right now. So as I went over that, and that was just sort of a scattering, I just sort of hit a few of the agendas over the years. And those are some of the projects that we have advanced. So I'm really proud of the work of the committee. Yes, Rick?
Alan, just go back. I was intrigued by your opening statement about the Proprietors Committee.
Yes.
Did that committee have any powers, or was it just,
No,
it was just like a board committee?
yeah, basically what it was, I'm just trying to think now. Oh gosh. Anyway, it was basically some of the the regulars at the time. You might call them the good old boys who were, involved with that. And the idea was, I forgot what the mission of the I'm not even sure they had a mission, but basically what they did is they discussed issues about the proprietors' roads. The reason I signed up for that committee, because I had no idea what a proprietor's road was. And being interested in history, I understood about the proprietors. That was my initial engagement with roads and so on. As I say, that committee was then combined by the Board of Selectmen with there was an existing right-of-way committee, so they made it the Roads and Right-of-Way Committee. The committee was kind of moribund for a number of years. Andrew Vorse was the chairman. And then, as I said, I took over in December of 2005. And
Yeah.
I've been involved since then, so.
Alan, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Sure.
Did you mention the Founder's Burial Ground in your list?
I don't think so, but yes.
Women's Memorial, Alan.
Right,
The Women's Memorial, but we also negotiated with the Land Bank and the
Angles Club.
Anglers Club to
Yeah.
gain access, because there was no public access to Founder's Burial Ground. And once we
Oh, that-
discovered that, we worked on that. We negotiated with the Land Bank, with the Anglers Club. I'm not sure why anyway.
It was the Angles Club access, Alan.
Mhm.
They own that land down there with that squiggly left turn.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta kind of, by the little boat thing.
Yeah.
Another thing you didn't mention is, at least I don't think you did, is
Step speech.
Steph's speech. That, okay, that wasn't what I was thinking.
Good stuff.
That was the biggest thing that everybody forgets even happened, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
So
But that Founder's Burial Ground is a
if I
big
may,
deal.
Alan, let me say it as a valedictory note, with this going into the recording, I think it's great. It's there for anybody who tunes in to capture what we've been working on. And now, just as a small note for everybody to recognize, we do have a vacancy. And if we can form a recruiting committee of the whole, anybody whom you can think of who's looking for something to do, vigorous, interested in Nantucket, ask her or him to apply.
Exactly. Yeah, that's next on my list here but thank you.
Got one more, Alan. Hospital the access to the historic colored
that's right,
cemetery
yeah.
with the hospital.
Exactly. Yeah, we
Yeah.
negotiated that, the entrance to the the historic colored cemetery behind there. And
Yeah.
I've got to enjoy the view of that cemetery for the last.
What about Harvard Ave?
Alan, it's better to view it from where you viewed it than from the other side of the fence.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm glad to be on this side of it. now.
Well, taking advantage of Lee's mention of the vacancy, at some point, I think we need to make a motion to send Leslie a letter of thank you for her service.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you for that. Great. Yeah, I did speak with Leslie in person, but you're right, a letter would be appropriate from the committee.
You sent a nice electronic note, but in the age of, now that we're in the age of modernity, sometimes we have to look to the old ways of doing things, and a written and signed letter, I think, is better than digital.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
But also, it might be a cheap way of getting a plug for an opening if we CC town manager so that it goes into the selectmen's packet so that they can acknowledge that and spring that into an opening.
Excellent, excellent, good. All right, Lee, you'll help me follow up on that?
Yep.
Great, great. Okay, as I say, those were just some of the highlights that I picked out. As I say, I have minutes going back to January of 2006. So, okay, next, we reorganize, approval of minutes, next item. Our last meeting was May 18th, 2021. We, of course, had to cancel the June meeting because of the, I don't know, some sort of scheduling or what. Anyway, we didn't do the June meeting. So I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from Tuesday, May 18, 2021.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion, Nat, and second, and all in favor?
Yeah, roll call, I'm afraid.
Roll call, okay. Lee,
Aye.
Nat,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Bill,
aye.
Rick,
Aye.
chair votes aye. Good. Okay, next item, the impact of the ATM ballot and approval of the Lovers Lane and
Newtown.
Lovers Lane and Newtown Road. Now, that, of course, particularly the Lovers Lane section, we've been working on that for years. And now with the approval and particularly with the money behind it, they will pave it over to Old South Road. And in
Bike
my
path.
mind, the most exciting thing is the bike path that will be through the state forest part over there. I think that's going to be a tremendous asset.
Yeah.
The connection between what is it, Hooper Farm Road and over to Fairgrounds Road on Newtown. I realize how important that link is because of the fact is the Mid-Island is now sort of expanding exponentially, it seems. To have a walkway of a footpath, a way to access the public safety facility and all the other facilities that are going, happening in that vicinity. So I think that those, in my mind, I think those are two major accomplishments that were achieved at the town meeting. So anyway, I just wanted to, put that out there. Yes, Ali?
I would just add to that, Alan, that there is a little bit of a controversy. Some of our, what am I trying to say? Conservative don't ever let Nantucket change, don't want anything to happen to Newtown because they think if it's smoother and clearer, it will be used more heavily as a cutoff or bypass. It already is.
Yeah, already
Yeah.
is. I was
It
gonna-
already is. And as a consequence, the traffic on there is a hazard to people who live alongside of it or abut it because they have to walk in the street if they're going anywhere. And I've seen bicycles, strollers, not to mention the daycare center that is on that street.
Exactly.
On balance, a smoother road will be quieter for the neighbors. You won't hear cars bouncing over the speed bumps or sewer works. And it will be safer with a multi-use path alongside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, with those two, as soon as they were passed, I went out to, just sort of visually see what was happening there. And I realized that there are other connecting roads like that that don't have any sidewalks. I don't, I don't want to take that on as a new project because I want to talk about sidewalks under old business here today, but
Yeah,
anyway, the.
Alan, that's down on the agenda as item 6. And
Yes.
I do have at least one candidate.
Oh, yeah, good. I have some thoughts on that one also under item 6. So
Alan,
anyway,
can I just interrupt you, you
Sure.
and Lee for a second? On this appointment, if Lee or Bill find somebody, can we just ask Erica to kind of put it on the agenda, or do we have to advertise again? I mean, or is this sort of a continuous advertisement type thing for the seat?
well, I think a better,
Yeah.
way, nearly everyone here has been either self-recruited because of their
Yeah.
interest in the work, or I've reached out. Phil Smith, for example, is a recent example. I think if we can find someone, that would be great. But yes, I think we definitely let people know the town. Yes, Rick?
Well, just to sort of follow up, Nat, the town has this, a procedure.
Yes.
And they're going through, I think, at this agenda meeting, another part of that process. And I think they'll keep going as long as there are empty seats. We're not the only committee with
Yeah,
empty seats.
Yeah, I was going to add, Nat, there is a generic ad that appears weekly.
yeah,
That's the same as saying Rosa right away needs somebody, but there is a generic ad. And so I think we can happily refer people to the town website saying, there is a place for you on this website.
right. I think that's what Rick's alluding to. The smaller committees are sort of a continuous, right, posting, right?
Right.
And the other, what the heck was the other thing I was gonna say? I forgot, Alan. So go ahead. Sorry, Alan.
Oh,
Okay.
well, just to jump on that, what I was getting at by sending it through the select board was realizing what Rick said about that standing push that they do.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the focused thing on X number of positions. And
Exactly. Yeah. They're
but I thought that by that letter, number one, select board would say thank you. Yeah. So anyway, just another.
Bill, you're fading in and out a little bit.
Highlight our little group. But somebody's eating the electrons in Matticat.
I know. You're in Surfside. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Definitely we'll follow up on that. And the Civic League, by the way, is also working on a program to highlight vacancies in the town that people might be interested. The idea is to drum up more support. As we all know, it takes some time and it takes a little bit of background, but it's a great place to learn about how government works, and to actually say, instead of complaining in the newspaper or whatever, it gives you an opportunity. So, okay. Anything else on that item?
So I have a couple of things just before we go to the next item, Alan, if it's okay. So Mary Longacre is now a planning commissioner. I don't know if you know that yet. I wanted to get that information out there because no one pays a lot of attention to this stuff. So I figured I'd say it. Mary Longacre is now a planning commissioner at large. And she got elected to vice chair last night. And Mary is really a dedicated, incredible person that we have in this community. She's got a lot going on and she does a good job.
Nat, may I ask explicitly? I thought she was elected to economic development.
That's what I'm talking about.
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, you said
Planning Commission.
That's what confused me.
Yeah, the NP and EDC, I say planning commission because it's easier. So, we have a guy that's coming here on August 12th. You'll be hearing about it. Hopefully, we'll finally replace Mike Burns,
Oh,
Which-
great.
which is gonna be something that, the guys from Boxford, Mass, I think it's Boxford, Route 2 area somewhere. He's working in DC right now. And he's coming here. I got word of this yesterday on August 12th for sort of a little, they're gonna set it up like a meet and greet type thing somehow. So I don't know how that's gonna work. I'm not sure if he's staying overnight or not yet, but that's the tentative date, Alan. So, and Lee, so, this is something that has been, I mean, forever going on. It's just the hardest thing I've ever seen, other than approving Lover's Lane, I guess. This is really difficult to get somebody to come here. So, so I just wanted you to know, I just wanted you guys to know that as well.
Nat and Alan, can we twist Andrew's arm to bring the planner to, say, a September or October meeting so that we can meet him and I presume it's a him, and
Yeah.
he can meet us?
Right.
Somehow, the reason I brought it up is because, I'm sure that a couple of you will wanna, say hello to this guy on the 12th, if that's possible. I'm not sure how they're gonna do it.
Right.
But either way, hopefully the guy accepts this position and we can figure out the housing issue. He's got 3 kids, his wife's a nurse.
Yeah.
So she's got an automatic job if they come here, so that's a good thing.
Good.
So anyway, so that's all I have. I just want you to know that, Alan, you guys can
Good. Thank you. By the
chime in
way,
on that.
Mike Burns was
Yeah.
on, oh God, what's it called? On our
Feedback.
committee.
Yeah, he was ex officio.
Ex officio, thank you. So anyway, don't worry. That's, that's good news that they
Yeah.
found someone. Let's just hope it works. So,
Yep.
okay, next item. One of the things that really astounded me at the
Yes.
at the town meeting was the discussion about the rotaries. I would.
Okay, cancel, please.
Wait,
Thanks, bye. No, I'm scheduled for Friday. I'll do that. Thanks, Casey. Bye.
I know. So
Alan, I apologize. I had a very important phone call to tell me that the boat I was renting for tomorrow is broken and they had to cancel my sailing.
oh oh no, I'm sorry, Lee. Anyway, I wanted to poll the committee about the rotaries. As you know, at town meeting, Jack McGrady put forth a non-binding 2 items about banning rotaries, and I tried to get to a microphone, but between
Yeah.
Jack, his son, his daughter, and whoever else they had in the audience, they
Yeah.
never, got to it. I think that is the most dangerous thing that could happen if they ban rotaries, particularly at
Yeah.
those 2 intersections. Those
Yeah.
have become 2 of the worst checkpoints, or as far as traffic points. We have got to get that rotary on the corner of Prospect, Atlantic Avenue, etc. It makes no sense. Now, the arguments that were, now, again, these are personal opinions of
Yeah.
mine, and I don't want to sway it. Well, I do, but in my mind, the whole idea of a rotary is not to speed up the traffic, it's to slow it down, it's to smooth it out. Anybody who's driven, you would think we would have learned when we put
Yep.
the roundabout down by the fire station there.
Yeah.
I think we would have learned from that experience that in fact, it keeps the traffic flowing, but it slows it down because people
Yeah.
have to look where they're going and so on. The three-way stop at Bartlett Road and Surfside Road has become a disaster. Try to
Yep.
get there on a beach day, you got people coming, you have a three-way intersection, and you got, people don't know who goes first, who was the first at the intersection. The people coming down Bartlett Road, they have a bike path in front of them. I mean, it's chaos. And
Yep.
traffic, traffic on a normal during the winter backs up almost to the high school down to that stop sign. So
Yeah.
anyway, I wanted to put that out there for discussion to see if, in fact, roads and right-of-way should issue a strong recommendation to the select board as they consider those two rotaries. Yeah, Lee?
Alan, because you know that I have an opinion on this, if I may, I will move your action that the Committee on Roads and Right-of-Way supports well-designed rotaries for Nantucket in place of 3- and 4-way stop signs.
Right.
And that recommendation go to the select board.
Okay, and I think we should include those two specific sites as,
Can I just, is that a
Okay.
motion, Leah? Can we talk about that for a minute?
yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, no, once it's
Oh,
moved,
okay.
it's open for
Yeah,
Okay.
discussion.
motion.
Oh, by the
and,
way, who seconds?
Ed,
I was-
Ed, is that a second?
Who's the second?
No,
Not a second, I wanted to comment.
Oh,
Yeah, we
okay,
gotta talk a little bit more.
Okay,
Okay.
so we.
Nat, I've got you down in second.
Great.
I just want us for discussion though, a little bit before we go.
No,
No,
we
I-
will. Okay, so we
Okay.
have a motion and a second.
Okay,
And now let's discuss it. What
Okay.
what's the feeling of the
so
committee?
just to quickly,
Yeah, if I may jump in as the mover. Number one, Mike Burns was one of the best planners we had, and he was very supportive of rotaries. Here's the point. All of us have driving experience, but very few of us are traffic experts. He is. And I listened to his presentations and I thought they were good. Number two, I turned to, I call him a senior police officer, but it was actually Bill Pittman, our chief. I said, Chief, is it in your thinking that we have poor stop sign discipline here on Nantucket? And he grinned and he laughed and he told me 15 minutes worth of anecdotes of things where either he or his officers saw people jump the queue, not stop, follow the car immediately in front of them without allowing the other cars to go. He just went on and on and on. Alan's already made the point about huge delays, including consumption of fuel at the existing stop sign. I will add to that. We have two rotaries with pedestrian crosswalks around them until somebody says these are unsafe because we've had the following number of accidents. I'm prepared to say my observation is that people are very careful when they're pedestrians on those
Yeah.
crosswalks. And then I'll add just a little bit. When I was in England last, before the pandemic, we had a few days before school break, and I was told that I was going to be on the school run. Now, my son had moved out westward from central London, but the school was still close to where we were staying. So it was a 20 to 40 minute ride on one of the most crowded roads in all of the world. I know it's called the A316, but it was the extension of the M3 motorway into central London. It's what the English call a dual carriageway, what we call a limited access 4-lane. And it went through every kind of roundabout being the English word, that you could think of. Traffic light control, uncontrolled, mini roundabouts, big ones. And there were school kids
Yep.
at every crossing. My
Right.
granddaughter was in the back of the car and I'd say, Daniela, what school is that tartan uniform? And she'd tell me. What school is that blue uniform? There were 6 schools that we went past. And let me tell you, the kids were rowdy on the sidewalk.
Right.
When it came time to cross, they knew discipline.
Great. Ed,
It works.
they do. Ed?
Having an English wife and having lived in London and owned property in London, I'm very familiar with all these roundabouts myself, albeit of course they revolve in the opposite direction it desires. And I agree, school children in general are observant of these things. That this is my observation. I'm all for rotaries and roundabouts, but I'm for a consideration of where to put the cross pass.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people with the cross pass, they're people that ride bikes, they cut straight across the path. There's adults that are not children that go to school. There are, teenagers, college people, whatever. A prime example is the rotary as you go down Old South Road.
Yes.
I've seen a number of near-death experiences of that cross path that they just cut the little, they just did the paving where the bus could pull off and things like that near the Plus building. In fact, I think that it would be a suggestion of mine, if I can, it's a little bit off the record here.
Oh, not at all. Ed, that's exactly the kind of input I think we should provide. I agree with you totally. By the way, there is a plan to redo the rotary at the main
Yeah.
rotary itself. And
Don't steal my thunder too fast now.
But one thing that I want to see is I'd like to see a a sidewalk put to as you're going toward the airport, to the right side of that.
Ed, you're stealing stuff.
To take
That's-
to take that crosswalk down a little farther and up.
It's that was part of what we voted against twice. It was all part of the Newtown thing. And I think that, go ahead, Ed, I'm sorry. You're making me laugh because we vote against everything until it's really expensive and then we vote for it.
Right. Well, that's the Nantucket way. You usually vote it down twice and it's money, right? Yeah.
I'm just telling the truth. That's what we do.
Learning that over the years.
Right.
So in any event, though, I think it's not the rotaries or the roundabouts, it's the placement of the transitions over them that become an issue. And around the school, if the children are patrolled, and children, if they're going to school, they learn to stop, wait, do this.
Yes, they do.
exactly.
Or
Yeah.
what happens after the school year ends when, someone takes their bike or their, whatever they happen to be riding down the sidewalk on that day and slide over the crosswalks right in front of traffic.
Exactly.
And then it might suck people into the roads.
Yeah.
I
So,
think that's an important thing to add in our recommendation is the placement of the pedestrian crosses.
So-
Again, presumably they will have an engineer who knows what they're doing, who recognizes the importance of. It was amazing. I had lunch at the Rotary, the old, the place there at the Rotary. And I was watching the traffic and it was incredible. It's going smoothly, everything is going. And then all of a sudden you get a string of bicycles, going this way and coming this way and everything kind of grinds to a halt and so on. So I think that's a very important element in the design to provide for, pedestrians because, they've got to cross the street too. Bill had a comment first. I want to get.
No, please. We have a guest who's just joined us on mute. If you would unmute yourself and tell us who you are.
Oh, hi. Thanks for letting me in. Campbell Sutton.
Oh, hi, Campbell.
Hi, Alan.
Welcome.
I can't.
We're in the process of talking about roundabouts and rotaries is what we're doing now. Okay,
Oh,
Bill, you had a question?
No, I was going to echo Ed's comment, and that's going to be part of I think, the challenge of talking the learning curve of re-educating folks, that, you know, where the current crosswalks are does not mean that's where they would be in the new
Right.
design.
Of course not.
And so,
Yeah.
safety wise, it may well mean that kids coming from the north end of town towards the high school would have to walk down to Vesper Lane and join that crosswalk or whatever. But you know, kids will have to walk a little further, or people have to walk a little further, but there'll be safe crosswalks outside of where the roundabout is. A little different than our current roundabout, where they sort of were forced, they didn't have room to push some of those crosswalks down further. So because of lack of sidewalks.
Good point. Ed?
It's somewhat anathema to things on Nantucket, but eventually I hope we don't have to go to a system where a pedestrian actually has to punch a button to tell them when they can cross the crosswalk.
That won't happen.
No,
That's,
I don't, so, but I'm just saying
remember,
It-
we have crosswalk
Yeah.
guards.
yeah, I mean,
Every time, morning, afternoon,
we need a tunnel underneath.
yeah, whenever the kids are there, they have, you know, guards up and down the, you know, to keep the kids safe. I mean, so,
I'm
Oh,
not worried about the kids and more about the general public.
yeah, I know. Rick?
Yeah, Alan, just a sort of a general comment. I sense I'm listening to the Rotary Advocate Society here, and I understand that. I'm not sure, is this the right time that we should be chiming in, or should we solicit information from those who don't like Rotaries, at least have them address us or not? Because I don't know what the impetus for the timing is, other than sort of being perhaps somewhat irritated at those who spoke at town meeting and feeling they may have been misleading people. But I just am not quite sure the necessity. And if you all want to proceed, that's fine, but that's a thought for us. Okay.
Okay, well, let me address that. The idea is to make a recommendation to the select board, because the select board is ultimately the deciding factor. We know that they have plans for Prospect Street, that connection there. We know they have a plan for the big rotary. We know that they have a plan for Surfside Road and Bartlett Road. Those are the immediate projects that the select board is going to be voting on. So they had the recommendation, non-binding one, from the town meeting with, well, we know what the votes were. So my feeling is that as the Roads and Right-of-Way Committee, this is a very important safety issue. It's a very important to what we do as far as traffic flow and things like that. And that's why I put it on the agenda to kind of poll the committee to see what the feelings were about this. Now, before we're not going to send anything to the select board until we have a specific proposal that, again, I'll bring before the committee here, and then we'll, have further discussion on that. And then at some point we'll take a vote, because remember, we don't have any power at all we don't have any power other than to make a recommendation to the select board. And I, as chairman of the committee, I feel that this is an important thing to weigh in on with with the expertise, so to speak, or the experience, maybe is a better word, that our committee brings to the issue of these rotaries. So that's where we are. We're not going to make a decision this afternoon and go running ahead for it. But I think it's important to have this discussion here. Ed?
I agree with Alan. I think though where our position comes in, and back to the vote at the town meeting, there was 175 people left in the tent by that time. So it's really not a very comprehensive vote. But in any event, and non-binding, wasn't very comprehensive. But I think the sidewalk and the crosswalks is an extension of sidewalks and access. I think that's where our niche in the Rotary business comes in. I think Rotaries are effective, but I think this, as far as a safety issue, to make them effective, where we come in maybe is an extension of our sidewalk purview and crossing purview to keep, the pedestrian traffic flow going smoothly. I don't know.
I agree. Rick and then Bill. Rick, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, just to follow up. I mean, we have a traffic safety committee. We have an NPDC. We have a lot of other people who I think spend a lot more time on this than we do. I just haven't sensed over my period and my period as a selectman that roads and right of way was sort of charged with crosswalks and you know what I mean, Alan?
Yeah, I do.
It's all a little different from right of way and access to beaches and things like that to get into elements that sound a lot like the traffic safety committee issues and opinions without an expert. I might feel better if our new guy on board signs up and talks to us in September, and we'll see where he feels.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And again, the idea of having someone who actually knows and who can explain to the select board who will ultimately make the decision. And I agree with you. Traffic safety definitely needs to weigh in. This is a traffic safety issue.
They deal with.
Yeah, Bill?
That's a,
So I would offer this suggestion that we, right now we're doing, we got a motion and all that. Well, I would suggest that we follow what Rick's sort of let the cat out of the bag, that we don't actually do a vote right now, that we do it as a consensus so that, we've had this discussion. And then at the appropriate time, after design has been done and we get a chance to look at it, and then, weigh in officially endorsing or not endorsing, depending if we like the design or not. I'd hate for us to say, yeah, we like these roundabouts and blah, blah, blah. And then they come up with a design that has issues as far as we're concerned with crosswalks. So I'm just thinking maybe we don't vote right now. It's a consensus.
I think,
That'd be my suggestion.
I'm just glad we're talking
Bill,
about it.
this is Lee. Do I hear you say that this is a good topic, but that we should postpone any vote until we've got the traffic planner on board?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I just say a couple things, Alan, real quick? First of all, I'm just excited that we're talking about it regardless of what we do at the moment, because we're so slow here. We've been talking about the high school intersection since '05.
I know.
Okay, '05. Okay. So, that's a long time ago. The Red Sox had just won first World Series since 1918. So back to a discussion a minute ago on Newtown Road cut through. The reason that's a cut through is because the roundabout works over there.
Yeah.
End of story, case closed. It's not an opinion, it's a fact.
Yeah.
The Old South Fairgrounds intersection is the most friendly island. You gotta know who's waving, who's slowing down. You need brake lights in the front of a vehicle to figure out if the person's gonna actually slow down coming from the southeast, coming from the airport. That's just true, okay? Reason people go in Newtown because they avoid that.
Right.
There is, and the only thing I'm going to disagree with Lee Saperstein about, which is rare for me to do that, is the fact that a rotary and a roundabout aren't any different. That's incorrect. A roundabout angles the car to in a merging position that allows space to open between the vehicles. That's why you can fold, it's like folding pages. It sort of allows the vehicle to, it's like a gearbox. You ever see a rear end cover off and watch how the gears turn? That's what a roundabout does. If everything is spaced correctly. If it's if an exit and an, you know, is too close to the other one, like the Hyannis one, 28 and 132 is a complete mess there because they're right next to each other.
Hmm.
And so, so my point is Milestone is a three-way stop and a yield. That is not a rotary. I mean, not a roundabout. Okay, so when Milestone gets fixed, Alan's correct. I just don't know when that's going to happen. We did vote to endorse the state, whatever. Do it, but when is that going to happen? I couldn't tell you.
No.
But that's going to change the mindset. If the Nantucket is still don't trust roundabouts when that's fixed, there's no hope. There's just no hope, because that's the problem with Sparks Avenue, is that the Milestone Rotary isn't a road, is not really functioning
Exactly.
correctly.
Yeah.
You have to stop at the restaurant. So, I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, it isn't an opinion. It's not politics and religion and all that stuff. It's just true. So we're going to have to let the time continue for this. I mean, I look at sort of the Rotary issue as sort of like the fire station. We couldn't vote for it until it was double the cost. That's just how we are. I don't know what to tell you. I'm making jokes about it these days, but it's so true when you look at things from that perspective. We need about 5 more of them. We need one at Surfside and Fairgrounds. We need one at the school. We need one at Bartlett. It's just a matter of time, but it'll happen hopefully in my lifetime.
Alan, far be it from me to disagree with Nat. Ed Gillum and I volunteered to take Nat to do
I've been over there. I know it
a
goes on
survey
over
of
there.
roundabouts in London so as to see the variety, all of which are called roundabout.
I can tell you what.
But be that as it may,
I'll
Nat,
never get behind the wheel of a vehicle over there. I can tell you that, because I want to live.
But there's no.
I've got a driver's license from that country.
no stop sign.
Okay. But Nat, seriously,
Yeah,
what is your thinking about our action today?
I think
Do
as
we
much as
postpone or do we vote?
I think we should wait on this without creating a big stir around town, because all these small committees get, turned into the select board in 5 minutes somehow, and really just advisory, little group of people. But I think we should postpone it, much as I'm in favor of saying something positive and sending some sort of message, but really it's not going to serve a purpose right now.
Right.
I think we're in a different position. We need to, we need to have a little more education on this. We just got through this town meeting. We passed a lot of capital stuff. We have right now people are all freaked out because the island seems full, and there was room on the Eagle Sunday night. There was space for about 8 cars, just so you know. So we've all leveled off and everybody's here and everybody needs to calm down. But at the same time, it fires people up when they see this much traffic, because we haven't had anything like this since 2019. So we forgot. We had a year of nothing. So I think that we need to wait, not necessarily for the transportation planner guy if he actually takes the job, but more about the next step with this. I think is there's already a plan for the schools. Been so many different plans. I mean, there's not one, there's like 4. So the land that the town has access to at the hospital for that road by the cemetery, there's all sorts of different things there, Alan, as you know. So it isn't one thing or another. It's more of like,
Okay, no, I understand.
timing. It's
All
a
right,
timing
great.
issue.
Right. Ed and then Lee.
I agree with that, but I would propose at the moment we take no action, basically.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That would be a
That's
good way
fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I assure you, we will keep this on our
I think we should
agenda as a discussion item because, whatever our role might be, as Rick points out, we don't have any, it's not our decision to make and so on. But I think, given our understanding, our experience of
Yeah,
roads and so on, I think that at some point we should let the select board know that we are concerned and these are our concerns and we want to be sure that they are addressed. So, yes, Lee?
Just a quick parliamentary point. Bill Greener moved. I've just heard Nat Lowell second. Postponement is debatable, but does require a vote.
Okay. So.
I'll make the motion to take no action on this issue.
No, postpone.
The
Postpone.
moment to
Take no
keep-
action would
just
kill it.
keep- Oh,
Postpone either to the
postpone.
next
Sorry.
meeting or
I
until
thought-
we get advice from the planning department.
Okay. All right. So I'm sorry, Lee, postpone rather than.
postpone the vote,
Yes.
Yes, Rick?
postpone the recommendation.
Yeah, but not to sort of continue this, but another idea is, this is already something we all know we want to discuss. And Alan, as the chair, will bring it back
Right.
as many times as is necessary. And I'm not sure the formality of a vote and debating the words of the vote is necessarily helpful.
Exactly.
Another solution would be to suggest that the mover withdraw his motion for now. And we know the chair will continue this item into future agendas as a separate agenda item.
Okay, we're getting into parliamentary issues here, which are, I'm a little out of touch with, but yes, Lee?
Alan, General Roberts said that Robert's Rules of Order is to bring the opinion of the majority forward. If everybody agrees with Rick, let's just roll forward.
Yeah,
Let's just what?
Roll forward as roll 'em.
Oh, I see. Okay. So does that require a motion or to undo something?
No. We'll just move forward.
Okay, we'll move forward on that.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that's good for everybody. Thank you.
I,
Nate.
I agree. I agree. I think this has been a very healthy discussion, though. As I say, I've been thinking a lot about this ever since the town meeting, and
Yeah.
there are a bunch of other places where there are other issues and so on. But yeah, I do think that given the expertise, well, familiarity, let's say, with the traffic patterns on Nantucket that each of us on this committee brings to
yeah.
to the knowledge that we can contribute to whatever decision
Yeah.
the select board ultimately makes. So, okay, so we'll move forward on that one. Any further comment on that item number 5? Okay, just the item 6 is discussion of other out-of-town streets with potential sidewalks. I would rather defer that discussion. I don't think we're ready to take that on at this point. Yes, Lee?
I hear you, Alan. I just want to add into your thinking for the next time we bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I was having a little kerfuffle with sailing because the boat's broken. But it means regularly I go out North Beach Street and have to negotiate bicycles with kiddie trailers, skateboards, whatever. There is a brick sidewalk, but it's not workable for cycles. So when we bring this back up, add North Beach Street to your list.
Oh, okay. And by the way, I have under old business I wanted to bring up just a reminder that we have a letter recommendation to the town about Prospects, the missing sidewalk pieces, Prospect Street to Vestal, the Mill Hill connector, Pleasant Street, Cliff Road, North Liberty Street, and Lover's Lane has been addressed with the action we talked about earlier. But those 5 missing sections of sidewalks, I don't have any update on what the select board's done with that yet, but I do want to bring those back because I don't want them to slip by the way there. Same with Wind Street and Somerset Road. I talked with Rob, this was a couple of weeks ago, and he didn't have anything new to report on those. But again, I just want you to know I'm following up on those. And I've also talked with Phil about the public-private ways and to see if we can somehow refocus to see if there are other public access points to the water. I know the land bank has been very, I can't really discuss what we have on coming up, but boy, we've got some beauties coming up as far as water access. So those are items I'll put on a future agenda. Okay, is there, yes, Ed?
Back to number 6, briefly, and with an idea like what Nat mentioned about, people bypass rotaries to go down Newtown Road.
Right.
There's other areas of town where there's choked spots
Absolutely.
for traffic that pedestrians and the cars go down smaller streets basically.
Yeah.
To avoid it. Some of those smaller streets do not have sidewalks.
Yeah.
For the public to get out of their way when they start cutting down these smaller streets. So
Right.
as we go around town, we might want to make a note of what are these kind of feeder streets or exit streets that traffic is now taking.
Yeah.
And make sure that there is sidewalks or, another way for the public to get out of the way. Because I've seen a number of people almost run over at the intersections for people that are like frustrated and peeling out of the traffic jams, basically.
Exactly. I have a mental list of all the newest choke points. Marine Home Center has become a, I mean, I don't know what you do there, but
A bridge over the top.
yeah,
Ed, may I suggest that you send Alan and indeed the rest of us your list of smaller streets that we might talk about?
Certainly, I'll start putting together one, but I mean, as we go around, I'm sure we could gather a list of these
Exactly.
very type streets.
Right. Well, I think that's step number 1, identifying where the choke points are, and then assisting the town in whatever way we can to.
Well, some of it can be cured by encroachment, to be quite frank.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
if you move back some hedges and all of a sudden you can walk and don't need a sidewalk, but you got a way to walk.
Exactly.
Road layout.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ed, you're opening up a can of worms, Ed. just
I
so you
know I am, but there we go.
Well, that's what we're here for. Right?
I just don't know what to say. So on other business, or new business, Alan,
Yeah.
so earlier when Rick mentioned something about traffic safety and NPDC about rotaries, I got to thinking the cross connection of all these different groups, like traffic safety, I attend those meetings as much as I can, and
Mhm.
it's that group is more about dealing with the citizens, complaints, and
Exactly.
they put in stuff like Mount Vernon brought up the other day is making it one way towards the west, just so you know, and it got tabled because of actually some of the stuff that we've worked on with the bike route thing, the share thing to Wind Street. It just made me think of it when you said that a minute ago. I wasn't thinking about that. But my other business is something that you guys are all seeing. It's gonna be an issue, electric bicycles on the sidewalks.
Oh, God.
So
No.
here's the thing, like what Rick was saying earlier, what's our role? Like it isn't necessarily a right-of-way issue. It isn't necessarily NPDC, it isn't necessarily traffic safety. It's a little of both. It's a little of everybody, I think.
Mhm.
And personally, and this is where we get into like when people are using skateboard or not skateboards, those rollerblades, right? There's only 1 or 2 people rollerblading. There
Mhm.
used to be dozens of people doing it.
Right.
Rollerblades take up more space because your
Mhm.
arms are going and all that. Now people are walking more than biking only. They don't have it. But electric bicycles are mopeds with electric motors.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. That's what it is. Okay, case closed. And they don't make any noise.
Exactly.
So when you're walking and this thing comes flying down whatever, a blind spot, Alan, on Popus bike path or wherever you are that you can't see, and all of a sudden a bike is going 25 miles an hour, that's a little different than what we're used to. I'm not saying that I love the things. I hope everybody has one someday. I hope we're taking them to work. I mean, great. It's wonderful to have all this electric stuff, but they don't make any noise and they are kind of a new sense of freedom. I'm noticing the kids with these other skateboard things running around on the streets and it's like, Jesus, somebody's going to get run over. But personally, I think they should be allowed on the bike path, personally. I'm not saying that they should be on the sidewalk though, at all. I think that that's insane.
Mhm.
But
I do, yeah.
I'm just saying to you guys that this is a discussion item for the future. You're gonna hear it. It'll probably end up on traffic safety committee at some point by somebody complaining and putting a letter into Art and Erica. So I just thought I'd bring it up as something that's,
Yeah,
a discussion item.
Good point. Yes, Lee?
Nat's got a good point. I asked Mike Burns about electrical bicycles, and he said, yes, he doesn't like them, but the state rules are if they're under 15 miles an hour, they can be on a bike path. I believe that when we take this up, agree with Nat, future item, that we end up making a communication both to traffic safety and the bicycle and pedestrian advisory committee or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
Okay, good point. Bill?
A bit of other new business, and I think this definitely is our responsibility opposed to any other, and that's milestone markers. The Sconset Road milestone markers we're aware of. A lot of us aren't aware of the milestone markers on the Matticat Road, and years ago, Alan actually helped me. The number 1 milestone marker was
We do.
missing.
We moved it across the street.
Right. And so Alan facilitated that being moved out of the bushes. Somehow it ended up on, quote, the wrong side, buried in somebody's property. So the first milestone marker is now visible. The second, or the 6th is actually down by Millie's. And a couple of interesting things. The second milestone marker is right at Sanford Farms. And the weird thing about that, and actually I have something if I'm able to share it. And the second milestone marker is, am I sharing the screen now? Yeah. So this is a little backwards.
Oh, yeah.
This is the location of the 4th milestone marker. The town wasn't painting them. I got a few residents and we went out and painted them all. The town is now painting them. But the point being is you'll see the height of the marker and the proximity to the road, so it's visible and people know what it is.
Right.
This is the second milestone marker and you'll see how short it is. It's right by Sanford Farms. Because it's so short, people that park off to the side don't see it, and it's just recently been pushed over. And so my suggestion is that that's undertaken to put in a full-size one to replace that, so it is visible. The other thing is, one of the funniest photos I saw from on Facebook at one point was somebody sitting on top of that, and the caption was Joe Blow doing number 2. But that aside, I think it should be a regular size marker, number 2. But it leads to, this is the 3rd milestone marker. And you can see that you can't see it. It's because it's buried so far into the bushes. And so it needs to come forward. And if you do go into the bushes, you'll see that it is in fact there, but way buried in. And it's also a small, short one like number 2. So I would like to ask this group to undertake getting those squared away. The number 3 needs to be brought forward and raised up or replaced with a tall one, as number 2 needs to be replaced. And I think it's well within our purview to do that.
Good, yeah, we can add that to our projects list, and it's something that the DPW normally, could handle. If it's on foundation or land bank property, usually their maintenance staffs, as we did with the one in town there, was on land bank property, so we took care of it. Okay, well, that's a good point, Bill. I'll keep that and put that on a future agenda for our projects list. So,
Alan, I have to leave now, but good discussion by everybody today. So thank you.
good, thank you, thank you. Oh, is
Bye-bye.
there anything else to come before the committee this afternoon? Seeing none, I declare we are at the end of our agenda and the meeting is adjourned. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Alan.
much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
See you in August.
See you guys.
Stay safe.